Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Twinnuendo.
I'm Grant, and I live in Florida with my wife and 4 kids, and I'm a former pastor, and current nothing.
You've always been nothing to me. And I'm Drew, a drag queen living in LA with my husband, my dog, and a few pills. Keep that to yourself. Today on this episode, we talk about Fantastic Sam's memorials.
Also, a story of me going to the chiropractor and being so scared, I ran out of it.
And finally, we do have a quick little moment where Grant gets sentimental and
We're going to cut it. It won't be an episode.
It's going to be very exciting. Enjoy the episode.
Don't worry about it.
Hi, I'm Drew. I'm the gay one.
And I'm Grant, and I'm not.
I'm still getting used to it. You are
Me
being
not
very
being gay?
open. Yeah, you're being very open about it. You're being very proud. I have to say that's very brave in a world where
Thank you.
Kamala might be president. That's
Thank you.
You will be persecuted. You will.
She's pretty popular down here in Florida.
Is she really?
Yeah, for real, yeah. Have you seen the video of the villages?
Oh, the old people. I know. I'm so happy for them.
People are
They
talking
get to wake
about it.
up right before they die. They get to see the light before they see the light. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they are. They're pretty close to death. Hey, are you watching the Olympics?
Hell yeah, brother.
I feel like it's the
now that
only...
Simone Biles is done, probably not.
I feel like it's the only time we can be super patriotic and not feel like we're right-leaning or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's the only
Yeah.
time I can be like, America.
100%. But we only get to do it every 4 years, so it's fine.
But what'd you think of the opening ceremonies? They're real gay.
First of all, I love that Nikki Dole, she is a drag queen from American Drag Race, but then she became the host of Drag Race France.
Yes,
And
I was just about to say all that. I'm glad you explained it for the people watching.
So in the satanic grooming opening ceremonies with all the drag queens, it was really exciting to see Nikki Dole.
You know that it wasn't about the Last Supper, right?
Right. It was the Feast of Dionysus.
Dionysus.
Close. And the first Olympics, didn't
Nikki
everyone, when you won, instead of getting medals, they all just fucked each other in the ass? Isn't that how the Olympics started?
Yeah, and they brought it back this year.
Thank
Super
you.
controversial, but they brought it back.
But brave.
I've been really excited about the Olympics. I'm not normally, but Whit's really into Team USA basketball, and so he got the international basketball from you. You bought him that.
I
for
did.
his birthday.
My Amazon account actually said, "Are you sure?" when I tried to buy it.
I had to authorize it. They sent me an email. They're like, "Hey, the gay one's trying to buy sports stuff." And I was like, "It's Amazon."
That's honestly
it's fine.
just to protect. That's to protect me, and I appreciate your participation.
So he loves it. He carries it everywhere. So we've been watching it. Anyway, it was cool to watch the opening ceremonies. And then, immediately I was like, oh, all the church people I used to hang out with probably are super pissed off right now. So I'm just happy that, they still get what they want. We got what we wanted, which is the Olympics and Lady Gaga. They got to be angry. And that's their favorite thing. Their favorite thing is to be angry.
It's the hypocrisy for me. Okay? I don't care when other people do it, but I care when they do it. It's the y'all are snowflakes. And then, oh my God, did you see drag queens were in the opening ceremonies? Grow up.
Yeah, but in their defense...
If you're going to be hateful all the time.
But in their defense, there were drag queens in the opening ceremony. I mean, they were there.
Well, Nikki Dole, she was so goofy in the opening ceremony. Nikki Dole.
Hey, so I'm on that kids app, TikTok, that the kids are using. Not underage.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't start with kids app. I'm on the kids app. Then I'll
kids
report
app.
you.
Chris Hansen and I talk quite a bit. No, I'm on TikTok, and because of Twinnuendo and because of our connection, my For You page, I'm getting a lot more gay content than I used to get.
Hell yeah. Hot.
It's actually the same
How you
content.
feeling?
Like before, it was just women
It's just
working out,
funnier.
and now it's men working out. Like it's the same type of videos, but
Yeah.
there's been a lot of them watching gymnastics. Gay men love gymnastics, like that. Like they're
Yes.
they like the way the men look.
Yes.
Are the TikToks.
I mean, we're alive, so we can see the hot bodies and go, those are hot bodies. However, I would challenge you. I'd push back a little and say that we prefer the women's gymnastics team. I would rather watch the women's gymnastics team than watch the men's.
So those are the two different videos I've seen. It's either them watching the women's gymnastics to watch, or it's them commenting on the male gymnasts. And so there's no in between.
And both are fair. Both are fair. Curtis and I were secret shoppers this week. We got
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
This isn't secret.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Tens of people watch this.
He's going to meet with them tomorrow, so the cat will be out of the bag. But we were
so you went to
shoppers.
Trump Tower. You went to Mar-a-Lago.
We did.
You're a secret shopper at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, listen, I wanted to find the rest of the papers. I think we're missing a couple.
Mm-hmm. So you went to the bathroom.
We got to stay for free at a 5-star hotel on the beach, and I have never felt more rich. I do believe that being rich is not for me. I could feel the condescension building inside of me just being there.
Immediately.
Like if something went wrong, my first reaction was to be annoyed. That's not how I actually felt. I just felt like I had to do that. Like, ugh, you're telling me it's going to take me a few minutes to get a drink in my hand? You know, that kind of stuff.
A friend of ours got us an executive guest pass to Universal Studios a couple of summers ago, which, you know, there's guest passes from like people that work there that get you in, and there's some that get you in the express line. This one, you walk up there to the front of whatever ride and you hold up this gold card. They walk you around everybody. You go like backstage. Ooh. And then you get to hold people up and pick your seat. So you skip everybody. And by the end of the day, I was pissed if they looked me in the eye. You know what I mean? Like I was like, who?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You don't have gold pass. How dare you?
So we had like things we had to do while we were there, and one of them was go to the pool and order food and drinks, which is just like how
it's work.
They made us do that.
You were working.
It's work. We got there at the end of the day. So all of the seats, I couldn't tell what was taken and what wasn't. I'd asked the guy, like the pool attendant, what was open, and he just kind of like pointed over in the back corner in the shade, and I was like, we went and we sat there, and I was like, I want to face the beach. Like, can you ask if there's, you know,
if they
other
can
seats?
build a beach in front of us?
Yeah.
So we can look
he
it
just
out.
kind of waved me off. So I was like, so he came over and he's like asking if we want anything to drink or whatever. And I'm digging in my bag just to look busy because I felt really uncomfortable with the fact that like I'd already asked him. And so I whispered to Curtis, just ask him, find out if we can move. Like, talking like a monster. And I was like, that was so fucking weird. Whoa, that slipped in real fast.
It's in there.
It's our father. I will admit, a little bit of Nick Nixon came out of.
You want to tell my favorite Chili's story? The way he treated the servers in Chili's. Do you remember when he needed a refill and he couldn't get one?
No.
This is a canon event, Drew. So our Father who art in heaven. He was really cool to service people. Super cool.
Mm-hmm. Super nice.
I mean, we'd go out to eat after church on Sunday morning and just, you know those memes that are like, here they are leaving church to go be mean to a server?
That's how all church crowds are.
My most vivid memory, we were at a Chili's. They have, I guess they still have, those like plastic mugs. They look like beer steins, but they're plastic. And my dad wanted a refill, and he asked the waiter for a refill. Now, this is a busy weekend. Like, there's tons of people. And so he asks again. And he probably had to ask an entire 2 times. One of his moves he used to do was he would walk in the back and refill his cup himself. Do you remember when he used to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'd walk in the back and refill it.
Yeah.
And then he'd come out and he'd be, like, laughing about how
beaming.
Freaked out these 16-year-old servers were. He's like, you should have seen her face. Like, good job. But this time, it was the most unhinged response I've ever seen. He was calm, and he just picked up his glass, which was empty, and he just tossed it. And it hit the floor and made the loud, because it didn't break, so it's just, it's just bouncing all over the place. All the restaurant stops, you know, and they're like,
a grown man threw a cup across the room.
So the server comes over and goes, sir, what? Are you okay? Like, what's going on? And he goes, I thought you forgot about us. I couldn't get your attention. I've asked for a refill a couple of times. I think about it every time I'm thirsty. If I go on a walk too long, I'm like, man,
you're about to
Dad threw that cup. Like, it's in there. It's deep in my psyche.
I
Pretty
mean,
dope.
I have a bunch of different like he threw tantrums moments, but I generalize it by saying we couldn't sit too close to the smoking section, the bathroom, or the kitchen. He
Yeah,
would
that's
flip
true.
the fuck out.
Yeah.
And everything was the server's fault. No matter what happened, it was the service worker's fault. The story that I tell a lot, the one that stays with me, is the supercuts or great cuts incident with the coffee. Do you remember this?
Yes. Okay, kind of.
We used to get our hair cut at Fantastic Sam's next to the Kroger, but then the woman
I
who cut
still
our hair
do.
died.
It
Well, you
takes,
look
I
great.
mean,
You look great.
my flyer miles are nuts.
The woman who cut our hair for years died, and so they turned her
My dad killed her.
station into a memorial, which is funny. I'm sorry.
I don't
it's
remember
funny.
this. They
What?
turned her hair cutting station.
Yes.
The only thing I remember about
Into a
Fantastic Sam's
memorial.
was the you would put your hair as a kid, you'd put it in a
Mm-hmm.
machine and they drop a toy. And for years
Yeah.
into adulthood, I thought it was a machine. I would tell people about this technology that you could put child hair into this machine.
You're
and the
lying.
No. And the machine would dispense a toy. And then someone one day was like, they just put their hand in there. They just like dropped it in there. And it wrecked my world.
Now I understand why you were in the church for so long. They
I was
really
gonna say
fucked you up.
I believed like angels were everywhere
Everything.
too. So
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You
thought
the hair
a demon was
technology-
whispering in your ear.
Honestly, in on the science faith debate, it's more on the science side. It's a machine, so
Simple machine. It's a simple
Yeah.
machine.
simple boy,
So,
simple
yeah,
machine for
so
a simple boy
The woman who used to cut her hair at Fantastic Sam's died. They turned
in a
her
horrible
thing
haircutting
in a
accident.
horrible. No, I think she died of a heart attack.
Stress of cutting
I
hair.
don't know why I said it like that. A heart attack.
She might hear us.
Anyway,
Or-
she's a
I
shrine
don't know.
now. So we tried to get a new person at that Fantastic Sam's to cut our hair. And it was usually our dad that would take us to get our haircuts because he was so particular about
We
our
couldn't
hair.
make decisions about our own hair.
No. The first person that cuts our hair or attempts to cut our hair at Fantastic Sam's next to the shrine cut my ear, and he threw a fucking fit. So obviously we never went back again. And the next place we tried was Supercuts or Great Cuts on Farmington.
On Farmington, yeah, Farmington and Poplar.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Already, like, going to get our hair cut was not fun because our dad was a monster, but also going to get your haircut's not fun as a kid, So we're
Yeah.
in this new environment, and it's already a
It
little
was cold.
stressful.
It was super
was
early in the
very
morning
cold.
for some reason.
Yeah.
It was like early
Yeah.
on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
And
yeah.
for whatever reason, and to Dad's credit, it is silly. The entire thing is tiled except for the waiting area. There's carpet in the waiting area of a
Yeah.
haircutting place. It makes no sense. But
Yeah.
we walk in, first time we're ever there, right? We walk in
Yeah.
and they're like, "Hi. Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. There's no food or drink inside because the whole first half of the place is carpet." And he's like, "Oh, really? I can't have my coffee?" And they were like, "Sorry. We're so sorry, sir. Sorry about that." And he's like, "No problem." He opens the front door while standing inside. He
Yeah.
pours his coffee right in front of the door on the sidewalk. Grant and I are mortified, and he made us stay and get our hair cut. We stayed. I tell that story a lot because
I
it's
remember-
just
It's-
so silly.
It's crazy. But also, like, he's consistent. I mean, like, his
True.
political views
what you're
and the
getting.
things that he gets upset about and in the way he responds to things, it's the same. I actually told him about our podcast last night.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. But listen,
Grant.
listen. He called
no.
me. So Mom knew about our podcast, and I told her, "Mom, don't listen to it. You'll hate it." And she's
Mom
like,
knew
"Why?"
about it?
Oh, yeah. But she won't. I told her, I said, "Don't listen to it. You're going to hate it. We say a lot of no words." So I'm talking to Dad last night. He calls and he goes, "Hey, I was just thinking about, Drew's doing all his stuff and he's so successful at it and you're helping him. And I think that's great. But you're very talented. You could do all kinds of different podcasts. You could talk about the church, but he wants me to go a different direction with that."
Right.
Even though I've said multiple times I want nothing to do with any of that, he still is like, "We're all Christians here." So anyway, I said, "Well, Dad, actually, Drew and I have a podcast, and it's seems to be doing fine. And I said, Dad, don't listen to it. You will not like it. And he goes, why? And all I had to say, this is all I had to say. Oh, we say the F word. And he was like, well,
Which one?
he said, you don't. Well, I mean, one of them is not a curse word to him. It's his ringtone.
Oh, that's true.
He said, well, you don't say it. I know Drew probably does, but you don't. And I was like, no, Dad, it's my go-to. It's my favorite curse word. Like, it's what I use all the time. And he was floored. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with him where he's told me that cursing is wrong, and that is in Second Opinions, chapter 1, I believe.
It's all he did when we were kids. It's all he did.
Well, okay, hang on. In fairness, the only time I ever heard him say the F word was to you when you got out of doing yard work by pretending you didn't know how a rake worked.
Rakes are a lot more complicated than they appear.
No.
You see a stick with a bunch of fronds.
This is one of my favorites. So anyway, my dad won't listen to the podcast because we have the F word. So fuck.
Good.
This is one of my favorite.
I just love that he was
Drew
like,
stories.
I'm sure Drew says that because he views me as like the most evil person in the world.
Well, and then he was just like, it's just wrong. And I was like, like why? Words are just like, from a sociological standpoint, they're nothing. They actually hold no meaning until we give them meaning. So, Dad, I tell this to my kids all the time. Like, I don't let my kids walk around saying, like, what the fuck's going on? But I tell them, like, those are grown-up words, and one day they'll be appropriate for you to use. But right now, it's just culturally, it's weird. It makes people uncomfortable. And so the words we use, the words don't have meaning. It's how you make other people feel with those words. Basically, that's what I'm teaching. That was the way I'm teaching my kids. So I was saying the same thing to Dad, and he was like, no, it's just wrong. So the only time I've ever heard him use the F word was Drew broke this man so badly.
Good.
And
good.
I tell this story all the time. This is like my go-to Drew story about our childhood. It's so funny. It's so...
Okay.
I think it's brilliant. Your move was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
We had a big corner lot that we grew up on. And so when we had to do yard work, we'd split it up. Drew would mow the back and the side, I would mow the front, and vice versa. Like, we'd swap it. And Drew had a talent for doing the yard so poorly. The only thing my dad hated more than gay people was bad yards. Like, bad-looking yards.
That's very true. Yeah.
Like, if two dudes were making out on a poorly cut yard, he's upset about the yard.
He'd notice the yard first.
He'd notice the yard first. And once that was fixed, he'd be like, hang on, we got to fix you. Drew would do a poor job on purpose to piss my dad off so that my dad would get so frustrated with him, he'd send him inside. And then me and my dad would stay outside and finish the yard. My favorite example of this was the leaves had just fallen off the trees, and he wanted us to...
beautiful time.
He wanted us to rake the beds. So I'm doing the mowing, and Drew is supposed to be raking, and he's just standing there holding the rake. He won't do anything. And so my dad comes out, and he's like, just rake. And Drew's like, oh, my arms, or whatever. So then Dad's like, here's how you do it. Drew knew how to do it. He was like 12 years old. And so he's doing whatever. So when my dad steps back and watches my brother flips the rake upside down. So the teeth are straight up. And he's like, it's not working. And Dad grabbed the rake and he said, fuck. And he threw it against the tree. And then he said, get inside. And Drew, you never ran inside, you never walked inside, you'd slink away. Like, you would walk away like, okay, if you want me to.
That's what he said. He wanted me to go in.
I guess I'll go inside now and play with my Tamagotchi.
Listen, I did not ask to be raised in Memphis heat. Okay, it's 100% humidity, 105 degrees.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
That's not my fault. Okay, if he loves God so much, take it up with him.
But
he's the one that did it.
It made me so mad at the time because I had to keep doing the work. But now I look back on it, it's brilliant. It was it was a Marty McFly thing. You know, in Back to the Future, anytime they call him Yellow, he does whatever they want. He's like, oh, who you calling Yellow? Who you calling a coward? And he'll just turn his brain off. Dad would do the same thing. You would make him so mad about the yard. He wouldn't even know what you were doing. And he'd just be like, get inside. And I'd be like, Dad, he did that on purpose. He knows how rakes work. And he's like, I don't know, and just send you inside. It was brilliant. Truly.
I do have to say that brought me much joy, many a joy, hearing your take on it now. Because, listener, to pull back the curtain, if you will, Grant and I did not get along growing up. Like,
Till college.
at all. It wasn't until college, and it was like a year or so into college that we finally were like, well, we're brothers. Let's try and live together and see what happens. And then we did get along. But growing up, we were awful to one another.
Super
and by
competitive.
that I mean Grant was awful to me, and I was just a sweet, sweet little boy.
Well,
I
we
didn't
would
know
get
what was
mad about, like,
happening.
we would think each other were stealing each other's friends. Like, I didn't want you to talk to my
I didn't
friends.
have any friends.
You didn't want me to talk
Well,
to your friends.
yeah. So in the church, you had all the boy friends, and
Yes, so
I had no friends. Every church thing we did, we went on a youth trip to like East Tennessee, which is like
Yeah.
a solid 6.5 hour bus ride.
Yeah, more than that, but
And
yeah.
I sat in silence the entire 6.5 hours to,
The
and the entire
sound
6.5 hours back.
silence.
And we weren't allowed to have any like secular stuff with us. Like we couldn't bring magazines or anything. And I did bring a couple cracked magazines. And the youth pastor came up to me and was like, you know, you're not supposed to have those. So go ahead and put that away. And I was like, I'm sitting here by myself. And he was like, okay, go ahead. And so he let me read my magazines because he felt so bad for me. So in that respect, yeah, I wanted your
that's
friends
really
because I didn't have
sad.
any friends. I had a really tough childhood. I was feminine and, well, that's enough. That's enough to be seen as like an absolutely disgusting person.
And in
Yeah,
the
it was
church,
hard.
that's true.
Yeah, it was a super hard place to grow up. But now hearing you view my sassiness as brilliant, I needed that. That healed me.
At the
That did some
time,
healing.
I was very upset about it. And now, of course,
Yeah.
looking back on it, I'm like, he played dad brilliantly. Like a
Well,
fucking fiddle.
You have that as like your, oh God, that made me so mad at the moment. I have one of you getting dad that I was going to say that I laugh about, but no, I'm still mad. Okay. So Grant and I were fighting, as we always do, and our poor mother, our poor mother, she had broken all of the spoons across our behinds. Like
She did.
And we would run away from her, run around the house, and bless her heart, she had it. So when she eventually just couldn't do it anymore, she'd say, wait till her father gets home. And that was a real threat. Because Dad would come home with a genuine leather belt,
Alligator
and
skin
we
belt.
would get whipped.
Do you
But-
remember when he broke the alligator skin belt on us? So he had a lifetime warranty on it, and he would go trade it out after
Oh, yeah,
every
I
few
forgot about
years.
that.
And it was already worn, and he was going after us. I don't remember which one it was. Maybe probably both of us. And he's just swinging, and it broke. It hit one of us and broke. And anytime that happened, I did play the Drew card then, and I'd get real dramatic, and I'd be like, "You broke the belt on me." And
Don't call that the Drew card.
Oh, it
You were
was.
doing that for yourself.
That was
Shut
pu-
up.
No, but I'm saying I was using your skills to play, to
Oh, thank
act
you.
up on it. It didn't always work. One time I put a Bible in my pants before he spanked me because I thought he
Grant,
hit it. Is
That
this a
is
story?
the story I'm about to tell. Shut up.
Okay, we'll cut it.
No, let's not cut it because it sounds like you're remembering it differently than I did. So maybe my memory is wrong. But
Okay, go ahead.
basically, we got in trouble. I got a spanking as soon as Dad got home. It was Grant's turn to get a spanking, and he put his Bible drill Bible in his pants because it was the only one that was like a hard cover.
Hardback. Yeah, it was the only hardback one we had.
Hardback. He lays across Dad's lap, and I remember Dad laughing. I remember Dad
He did.
just losing it.
He did.
And not
He
spanking
called Mom
you is how I remember. But
No,
you still got a
that's the-
spanking.
That's the unhinged part. I was watching a Little Rascals, and Spanky
Yes.
did that. Spanky
Yes.
put a Bible in his
Uh-huh.
pants, and the guy hurt his
Oh
hand,
my
and he
God.
got away. And so I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to do it, and Dad's going to pull it out, and he's going to feel bad. He's going to see that it's a Bible, and he's going to feel bad, and he won't do it anymore. So Dad did exactly what
He
you
got
said.
you good.
He hit it, pulled it out, started laughing, called Mom into the room. They all had a good laugh, and then Dad spanked the shit out of me. Like,
Okay,
I still
good.
got it, but he was calm.
Okay,
like
good.
before he was mad, and he was like, ah, but this time he's like, what What a great laugh. And he got me anyway.
I've been telling that story for years that you got out of it that way, and I was so upset. But I think maybe I just wanted to be mad.
It's a better story that I didn't, because it just shows how unhinged that moment was.
And listen, we don't support that type of behavior. I just want everybody to know.
Yeah, we're
Don't
not
hit
walking
your
around
kids.
hitting kids. Don't hit your
No,
kids.
not anymore. Not since the judge says I can't. Well, let's get off the dad stuff.
I wanted to tell you, since we originally talked about being in public and being humiliated, I had an anxiety-inducing experience today that ultimately I had to just walk out, not talk to anybody and walk out. So I used to have a chiropractor in the church, and she was wonderful, sweet lady.
A woman?
She, when I got fired, I haven't heard from her since. She's a sweet lady. I'm sure there's no problem. She's probably just like, I don't even know what to say to him. So no hard feelings. She's great. But I don't want to put her
listening, lady chiropractor.
Yeah. I don't want to put her in a weird place, so I don't want to call her, like if there is a problem.
Right.
So I just found this new chiropractor, like a video pulls up on Instagram, targeted ad, and it's like, hey, $50, you can get your first 2 adjustments and a 60-minute massage. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll do that. I go this morning. It's in a brand new area down here. There's this new subdivision area that's blowing up. It's really nice, really expensive.
Okay.
Like a lot of the NBA players and stuff live in that area. It's really nice. It's this new shopping center, and there's the chiropractic place inside of it. And I was like, oh, well, this is going to be great. It's in a nice place. So I walk in. There's the check-in desk, and there's a wall behind the desk. And as I look over to the left of that wall, there's everyone waiting, and they're sitting on like dining room chairs, but they have these like rubber half circles that everyone's sitting on, and they're doing this. I guess it's good for your back. I don't know. But I was like, I don't want to go sit over there. I'm already uncomfortable. And then as I'm checking in, I can hear the adjustments as if they're happening in the same room with me. I can hear them talking to the patients. I can hear the table, when they do the pa, pa, you know what I'm talking about? I can hear all of it. Drew, I walk over to the seats, and I realize the reason it felt like they were in the same room with me is because they were. The doctors
were
had
the chairs
right in front of the chairs, 6 feet in front of the chairs, facing them. They're facing people. There's a table 6 feet in front of them, and the doctor's like twisting all these people up and asking them like, so how's your back been? And like asking them medical history questions, and we're all just sitting there. And it's one of those places too that it felt weird to be on your phone. You know what I mean? They had signs everywhere, and I was like, I probably shouldn't. And so we're just sitting there, and I'm just looking at these. They're 6 feet in front of me, watching them get adjusted, and I'm getting increasingly anxious, but I paid for it already, and I'm just like, and then I was like, you know what? I would pay $100 to not do this. And so I just got up and I started to walk out. The lady at the front was like, sir, your appointment. And I was like, and I just walked out. They called me, left me a voicemail. They texted me, they emailed me. I'm never going back there. Have you ever heard of that? Doing the adjustments in front of an audience like that?
No, obviously
I've never seen
not.
that.
No, but
Nuts.
I have a couple responses to that. Number one,
they haven't done that at like Fat Slut or anything? They don't do
Fat
adjustments
Slut,
in front of everybody?
Well, they adjust their sphincters to put bananas. Anyway,
that was on me. I asked.
First of all, everyone has their own relationship with chiropractic work. I know that some people think that they're scams, some people. So keep that to yourself. I don't care. But if there's any sort of medical...
Tell me about it. Don't tell Drew about it.
Call Grant. His number
I want to know.
If there's ever like a medical thing that's like for $50, you'll get 2 adjustments. Don't do that. There's never a good reason to do a deal, a coupon on a medical thing.
Okay, so
you're
right. You're right in the sense that when I got there, it felt like a quick change oil place.
Right.
Like there's too many people in the waiting room. There were too many people getting adjusted too quickly. I mean, he was running through people. And I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And it was
I'm glad that you got up and left, though. I feel like that's something that we wouldn't have done a few years ago.
It took me a while.
But like I feel like as we've gotten older, I think we do it now. That's good.
So one of the things I want to talk about before we finish is this is a little meta, is talking about the podcast we're in right
shit.
now. So we've released, at this point of recording, we've released 3, and this is our 4th episode. And it's been insane. It's been incredible. I've loved doing it. It's been so fun.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. One of the things that happened to me that probably happened to you when you went through what you went through at Bar Redacted is when we got fired and when we lost our community and lost everything, I had no self-worth left. Like, I believed everything they said about me. You know what I mean? Like, people could say the craziest shit.
They did make a couple good points.
They did make some good points, but I believed it. I was like, oh, I guess I am a piece of shit. I guess I don't deserve anything good. I guess I, whatever it is. That's still like, you don't just shake that off. False beliefs that we carry around, you can't just say, well, I'm just not going to believe that anymore. You can say that,
Right.
and you should, but you have to say it over and over and over again, and you have to replace those beliefs. And so this podcast has been so incredible for me because part of why I've been saying on every episode, no one's going to want to listen to this, is
You do say that a lot.
I lost my bearing in the world. I have felt like I don't belong anywhere. I'm not really going to be helpful at anything. I'm not good at anything anymore, And so the fact that anyone likes this has been incredible. And, my whole life was truly given to, I wanted to help people. That's what got me into doing what I did. That's what got you into doing what you did with teaching in special needs classes.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant that's why you started working at that bar, because you wanted to help people.
But we
got it.
We both are, I think we're driven by that and still are. And I just thought I'm never going to help anybody again. Like, I don't have anything to offer anybody. And just reading people's comments, and I don't know, this probably is not cool. And Drew, you can tell me, you're the podcast expert. I read every comment.
Me too.
Fucking comment. I read every one of them.
Yeah, me too.
And we text them to each other. I'll tell my wife about it. I would love to start responding to them if that's not lame. Because I read all of them.
Of course, please do.
I didn't know if that was lame or not.
No,
I read them all the time.
not at all. I should interact more than I do, but I do keep my eye on everything. And part of it is because it's fun. Other parts is just because of my anxiety. But no, it's fun.
I will say, too, I'll make all the listeners a promise. When people don't get the bit and they don't get that we're joking about something and they respond earnestly, I will never push back on that. It makes me so happy. So I appreciate other people correcting other people, but when people just don't get it, just let them not get it. It's so num. It's so good. I don't want to offend people.
Good.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be an offensive person, but
I don't
love
think you
it.
are, and I edit it out when you are. I have been.
Where's
I'm not
that?
surprised at the support that you're getting from this community, LGBTQIA+. We are a very loving community, unless we are mad at you for some reason. But yeah, I'm not surprised by that, but I am surprised that so many people keep coming back. It's really nice. Thank you, everybody, for continuing to give Grant a chance. Also,
thank you.
We do have a voicemail number set up, and we have gotten a few voicemails. However, we are going a little long today. My mother-in-law, you probably love your mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is coming in town tomorrow. No, my mother-in-law's alive.
Preemptively, God rest her soul. When that day comes.
So we will get to the voicemails. Thank you so much for calling in. If you haven't called in yet, absolutely do so. We have the number in the little description.
I have a question, Drew.
Something asked when. Go ahead.
You've got the voicemails. I haven't listened to any of them. Am I gonna do like a blind reaction on the show, or can I listen to it? Because I'm so excited to hear these stories. Should we do a blind reaction? I can't wait to hear the church stories.
Okay, I gotta say, Grant, I do think it's better if only one of us listens to it ahead of time.
Okay, so you volunteer tribute.
One person does need to listen to them ahead of time, but it would be kind of fun to get your reaction.
I'll stay in the dark, but I'm super excited about them. I'm very excited about it.
Me too.
This has been great. Seriously, guys, I love you. I love this community that we're in now. Thank you to IMHO for being so kind to let us sit on ride your coattails.
You're ally now. You're ally.
Ally.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you next week.
Do you hear that?
What?
Oh, sorry. It's Gen X. They're calling me. I'm an elder millennial. I have to answer this call.
My God. I love those videos. I love those videos.
I gotta go.
Grant?